Let's talk about one of the most deceptively tricky jobs in all of tech repair. Today, we are going way beyond just the screen to look at some real tablet repair nightmares. So let's just dive right into this quote. I know, it sounds like a crazy exaggeration, but you are about to see why it's actually not that far off. We're going to uncover the hidden complexities, the crazy internal puzzles, and the industrial strength glue that makes fixing a tablet one of the toughest tech jobs out there. And to really get a feel for the struggle, we're going to follow the story of a guy named Glenn. Now, Glenn's a self-proclaimed newbie, not a pro technician by any stretch, who decided, pretty bravely, to fix his nephew's shattered iPad. This is his story.
And we're not talking about just a simple little crack here. Oh no. This thing was dropped on concrete, it had a dented corner, and the front glass was completely shattered. For a first-timer, this is, well, it's about as hard as it gets. The mission was clear, but the path forward? Not so much. So let's get into the first major obstacle, which is just getting inside the device itself. You see, unlike phones that might use little clips or screws, modern tablets are sealed shut with what is basically a fortress of powerful industrial strength glue.
So how do you get past that fortress of glue? Well, Glenn's toolkit was about as DIY as you can imagine. A regular hairdryer to heat things up, a basic section cup that came with his repair kit, and a standard razor blade to try and slice through that adhesive. He was basically taking on a professional-grade problem with stuff you'd find in a kitchen drawer.
And this quote from Glenn really hits home. You can feel the human cost here. The whole process was just terrifying. Every time he pulled on the glass, more cracks would appear. The risk of cutting himself or, wrecking something inside was just constant. This isn't just a technical problem, it's an incredibly stressful ordeal.
Okay, so let's say you've somehow made it past the glue. Congratulations! But once you're inside, a whole new challenge pops up. A dense, multi-layered internal maze that is way more complicated than anything you'd find in a smartphone.
And this really gets to the heart of the matter. A smartphone? It's often got a more open, kind of single-layer design. A tablet, though? Oh, it's a completely different beast. It's a tightly packed puzzle. You've got components layered on top of each other, all connected by these super flimsy integrated cables that are just begging to be torn.
In there, every single move is filled with risk. Glenn had to remove these impossibly tiny screws, then carefully lift the delicate LCD screen, which, by the way, is often more expensive than the replacement glass itself. At one point, he literally had to use an alcohol bottle just to prop the screen up. One wrong move, one little slip of the screwdriver, and boom, the cost of the repair could easily double. And now we get to one of the biggest headaches in all of modern electronics repair. This is where a simple part swap runs headfirst into a wall of digital security, creating a real identity crisis for the device itself. I mean, it's a logical question, right? You'd think you could just swap the home button. The replacement screen Glenn bought even came with a new one already installed, so why not just use it? Well, the answer reveals a huge roadblock that's built directly into the iPad by the manufacturer. It's something called part serialization. Basically, think of it like this. The original home button is digitally married to the iPad's main logic board. It has a unique identity, a digital fingerprint that the iPad is programmed to recognize for security stuff like Touch ID. It just won't accept a new part for those functions. And that leads to this unavoidable trade-off. A professional would have to painstakingly transfer the original button over to the new screen to save Touch ID. But since Glenn's replacement came with a new button, and that transfer is incredibly delicate, he had to sacrifice Touch ID, and it's lost forever. So, after battling the fortress of glue, navigating that maze of tiny cables, and dealing with the whole home button drama, what was the final results? Did this DIY adventure actually work? Well, first, how long did this so-called simple screen replacement take? Several hours. We're talking an entire afternoon of high-stress, painstaking work for a job that, from the outside, seems like it should be a quick fix. He was in this minefield for hours. And, against all odds, he did it. The iPad was fixed, it was working. But Glenn's own conclusion is maybe the most important takeaway from this whole thing, and it serves as a pretty powerful warning to anyone else thinking of trying this at home. The final verdict, and this is coming straight from the guy who actually did the repair himself, is that this is a job that's really best left to the professionals. Glenn's journey is a huge testament to the skill, the special tools, and the deep knowledge it takes to do this job right.
In the end, Glenn's story shows us that while our tablets are these amazing marvels of sleek, seamless engineering, that very design creates a massive barrier to repair. And it kind of forces us to ask a bigger question. As our devices get thinner and more sealed up, what's the hidden cost to our ability to actually fix the technology we own and depend on every single day?
So you had a phone disaster? Yeah, I came in with a broken camera, totally useless. But David at Sydney CBD Repair Centre was great. Within a day, the part was...
So phone disaster?
Came in with a brick camera. David fixed it in a day. Good as new. Highly recommend.
Our daily superhero, Mr. Repairman, David, is here. Call 8011-4119 now.
My Motorola Edge 50 screen was smashed. David here ordered the part and fixed it next day in 1 hour.
Our daily superhero, Mr. Repairman, David, is here. Call 8011-4119 now.
Wang, tell us about your recent phone repair.
David was super professional. He fixed my Galaxy Z Flip 4 in an hour. I literally walked in broken and walked out perfectly fixed.
Yeah, highly recommend.
If you have mobile phones issue, you can walk in. We're open Monday to Friday, 10 a.m. 6 p.m. and Saturday, 10 a.m. 2 p.m.